Hi, I'm Charlie from the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. We've decided to change things up a little bit and do our reading at the beginning of the week. I know it's a little late this week on this beautiful Monday, but we are going to go ahead and get started. So every week you will be able to find the week's recording with our discussion topic on YouTube, where this video will be posted. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms, and thank you for joining us. This week's reading is chapter 11 from the Path of the Yoga Sutras. Parinama, transformation. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The Serenity Prayer. Everything in nature, including ourselves, changes from moment to moment, day to day, year to year. How well we accept and adapt to changes can affect our lives in helpful or harmful ways. Our heart and mind can change things quickly on the outside, but our deeply held opinions and long-standing habits are much slower to transform. According to yoga and modern science, all matter is made up of basic elements such as iron, oxygen, and tin. These elements never fundamentally change, yet they take on different forms and combine into thousands of different molecules and composites. For example, gold remains gold even when it changes into a wedding ring, goes into a computer chip, or adorns a sculpture. We can always melt it down again and return to its original elemental state of gold. Each person's field of consciousness is like the gold. It can go through many, many changes over time that on the outside make it seem as though people are quite dissimilar. Yet inside, we all share the same inner light of awareness. The strong winds of a hurricane swirl around on the outside, while the center, the eye, is clear and still and unaffected by the storm. In the same way, our thoughts and emotions fluctuate around an inner light of awareness, our Purusha, that silently watches them. Changes in our physical body affect our breath, heart, and mind, and vice versa. Improving the health of these three components of our human system contributes directly to our well-being and happiness. Yoga postures, breathing exercises, what and how we eat, day-to-day activities and interactions, as well as sitting quietly, all serve this end. Rapid change is rarely sustainable, with the exception of change due to a trauma or a very intense and life-changing event. Real, lasting change usually happens gradually over time, often without us even being aware it is going on. Reading the news, traveling, holding different jobs, and experiencing relationships all cause changes in our being. Every interaction we experience is recorded in our heart and mind and contributes to who we are. Change is difficult to perceive while it is happening, especially when the change occurs slowly over a long period of time. Only at the end of the series of changes, when things stop changing, can we fully understand each step that led us to the end result. Unwanted or unexpected change can cause suffering. What do we do when our life changes in ways beyond our control or in ways we did not intend? The Serenity Prayer counsels us well in this regard. Events that cannot be undone, such as the loss of a limb or the death of a loved one, are to be accepted over time so we can move forward. Other events can be carefully navigated using keen discernment, or viveka, in order to bring about as positive an outcome as possible. Intentional change can be difficult and uncomfortable. The easiest way to change is to map out small steps toward a realistic goal and then commit to the process. We have the power to transform harmful thoughts, words, and actions into more positive and meaningful energies. Deliberate and conscious change can move us into a more helpful direction and gradually allow the negative past to fade away behind us. For example, you treat your employees so poorly that it causes a high turnover rate, which not only lowers morale and creates an unhappy work environment, but also costs your company a significant amount of money. By setting an intention to empower your employees by listening to their concerns and providing strong positive words of encouragement, you can gradually transform the unhealthy and uncomfortable workplace into an environment that people enjoy working in. When their work is valued and appreciated, productivity goes up, turnover goes down, and you as an employer feel much happier. It becomes a win-win situation. The current state of each individual heart and mind is the result of past experiences and habitual patterns. Contemplation of these changes can reveal valuable information about how they arrived in their present state. By understanding these long-standing habitual patterns, as well as our genetic traits, we can glimpse what might have happened in our past to create them and even predict how they might play out in the future. If we surround ourselves with positive influence, remain open-minded, and continue to learn new helpful things, then naturally the changes that occur will be positive and contribute to happiness. If, on the other hand, we acquiesce to negativity or stagnation and think we do not have any control over our situation, we will move away from yoga and toward potential unhappiness and sorrow. Nature, drusha or prakriti, constantly changes, just as the cells in our bodies are continuously transforming themselves and being recycled into other substances. Because everything is always changing, clinging to anything is ultimately futile. The tug of change ever so gradually pulls on each object in this world, and as we tug against it, we inevitably encounter some degree of discomfort or dukkha. Live in nature's ebb and flow, change and grow with it, feel the discomfort of resistance, and let it go. Thoughts. Real lasting change usually begins with discomfort and ends with joy and respect for oneself. I can replace obstructions to my progress with what encourages and supports moving in a positive direction. I will set an intention for positive changes in my life that are conducive to the practice of yoga. Exercises. Think about some aspect of yourself that you'd like to change. Create a plan to gradually transform this aspect. As you follow your plan, observe yourself each time you either behave as before or succeed in modifying your behavior. These moments may be noticeable only if you sit quietly at the end of the day and ponder the day's events. Over time, you may need to adjust your plan until it works as you feel positive about the results. Recall a time in your life when change was thrust upon you, such as a job ending or an unexpected diagnosis of cancer. How did you react to this change? Consider how you might react differently the next time you experience an unexpected turn of events. In terms of staying positive and moving forward with your life instead of letting the event pull you down. How are you different than you were 10 or 20 years ago? Think about what caused these changes. Were they intentional or a natural result of your surroundings, people, places, events, and history? If intentional, how did you influence others by your example? Today's reading, The Path of the Yoga Sutras by Nicolai Bachman. Chapter 11, Parinama. Thank you for joining us.